We are going to cook today. We're going to cook taco casserole. Pardon, it's gardening stuff, just pardon that. Ignore that. I'm going to be using the ground lamb that we have. If you've never seen our videos before, you can go back and look at some of the early, well, this is an early one. We've only got a few videos out thus far, but you can go back and look at some of the first videos and see our sheep. We recently had 2 of our lambs butchered, and we got several pounds of ground lamb. And this is the way my favorite way to have lamb, because we use ground meat a lot. So we usually get as much, we just tell the butcher we want as much ground as possible, and then he gives us the other cuts. So I just went out to the freezer and got 2 pounds of ground lamb. So that's what we're going to use in our taco casseroles. 2 pounds of meat. You can use beef, turkey, whatever. I'm not sure about pork, probably not, but so beef, turkey, lamb, something like that, 2 pounds. I also went out and got some tomatoes that we had frozen, that I froze last year. These tomatoes are from August, and so what I'm gonna do is puree these tomatoes to go in the taco casserole. So we've got that, and I wrote on the package how many tomatoes are in this bag, and it says 4 medium. So that's, I may not use all of this, but then I can save the pureed tomatoes for something else. We're going to use chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder. We're going to use 1 egg and 1 cup of milk. We're also going to use tortilla chips. This is just some that I have left. And we're also going to use mozzarella cheese, which I also just went and grabbed out of the freezer. So I'll be back in a minute. And I'll put the recipe in the description, because I know sometimes videos are a little bit hard to follow, but I'll put it in the description so you can print it out. Oh, and we're also going to use salt and pepper. And I know I mentioned this in a previous video, but one of the reasons I love lamb meat so much is because I don't usually have to drain the meat. It is so lean. I'm hoping that once this gets fried up, and I'll show you what it looks like, that I won't even have to drain it. The rest of this video is just going to be a voiceover like this because it's just easier. So here you see that I'm frying the meat, and now you see that I've got the meat fried, and it's not greasy. There's like no grease in the bottom, so I'm not even going to drain it or anything. I'm just going to leave it just like it is. Okay, now I'm going to start adding the ingredients. First, I'm putting in chili powder, and I probably use about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons. I just take the little lid off and shake it in there like that. Now I'm using garlic powder. I'll probably use about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Next is onion powder, and I use a little bit more onion powder, probably 2 teaspoons maybe. I also added salt and pepper, and now I'm just mixing it all up and getting the spices mixed in good. And on the salt and pepper, I just sprinkle to my taste, really. I don't use a whole lot of salt because we're going to be putting the tortilla chips that are already salty in this, and also cheese is salty and it goes in it. So and so here what I've done is thawed out the frozen tomatoes that I had gotten out of our freezer, and I thawed them out and put them in this blender to puree them. I thought at first I would not use all of it, but I just went ahead and dumped all of it in the pan. So I'm just gonna dump that in there and mix it all up. And there, I'm mixing it up. And then after that's all mixed up, I'm gonna take 1 cup of milk and put 1 egg in it and scramble that up. And then we're gonna pour this mixture into the meat. Just like that. And then after we pour that in there, we're gonna get that all stirred up and mixed in. And just let it cook for just a few minutes, not long at all, because we don't want all of the juice to cook out of it. So after I've got that mixed up, then I take just how much ever tortilla chips you would like to add to it. I usually do a couple of handfuls. I crush them up and put them in there and mix it up. The chips will soak up the remaining juice or liquid in the mixture. And I went ahead and decided to add some Mexican cheese. That's really good in this as well. After I've got that mixed up, I'm going to preheat the oven to 400, and then I'm going to transfer this mixture from that pan to the white casserole dish. While it's sitting in the pan, you're just going to let it slowly cook on low until you get ready to transfer it. You don't want just a whole lot of liquid in the mixture, but you still want it to be moist. So now we've got the mixture in the casserole dish. I'm going to stick it in the oven. And we're going to cook this for about 25 minutes. I probably let it cook a little bit too long. Really, the tips of the chips and things should not be so brown like that, but hey, we're going to be covering with cheese in just a minute. After it cools off for just a minute, I go ahead and put a couple of handfuls of mozzarella cheese on top and let it melt. And also in this recipe, I don't add corn or black beans or anything like that, but you can make this, you can add whatever you want to it. And I think corn, black beans, or any another type of bean would be really good in this taco casserole. On this particular day, we ate rather late. It's somewhere around 7:30. In our previous life, before we started our own business, we ate somewhere around 5 o'clock, but that doesn't tend to happen these days. But I thank you for watching this video, and I will leave the recipe down in the description.